I've always had a love-hate relationship with kettlebells. If you're anything like me, you've probably thought of the million and one ways that you can mess up your finger, your toe, your house, your dog, or your TV with your kettlebell, just swinging it around in the house. Even though the likelihood of most of that stuff happening is relatively low, it's kind of made me uneasy about kettlebells in the past and just kind of made me avoid using them altogether in my home gym. So that's why when I discovered the soft kettlebell, I was totally intrigued. Is it just as good? Can I actually drop it on my toe and not feel anything? Can I do bridge presses without my ovaries feeling totally uncomfortable? Well, today I'm excited to review the WeGym soft kettlebell set and share with you my honest thoughts. Thanks so much WeGym for gifting me this kettlebell set so I could review it. If you want to get your hands on this kettlebell set or anything on WeGym's website, even if you want to just buy one kettlebell at a time or whatever fits in your budget, you can use my code DVN10 for 10% off. Now let's get into it. All right, so let's start with simple design and build quality. The WeGym soft kettlebells are made with PVC. I would compare the bottom part of the kettlebell to a yoga ball type material. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as a yoga ball, but it definitely feels exactly like it to me. Very thick, very cushiony, and I definitely don't have any concerns about, you know, poking a hole in it or anything like that unless I was legitimately stabbing it with a knife or doing something purposeful to make that happen. The top of the kettlebell is a non-slip grip. It's pretty thick. I mean, it fits my hand pretty well. Not too thick, not too thin in my opinion. And it has kind of a grainy feel to it. Again, so it's not gonna easily slip out of your hands if you tend to have sweaty hands. Not saying I do, but it makes me feel a little bit better about using them. I'm assuming the top part is made of some sort of really durable plastic. It's not neoprene or anything like that, like some of my dumbbells and some standard dumbbells, but it has a pretty good feel to it, and it's not gonna slip out of your hands easily at all. As you can see with the backlight, the bottom part of the kettlebell is filled with steel sand, and you can kind of see that it kind of shifts and goes with the weight of the kettlebell and wherever you're kind of navigating that kettlebell. It's super durable and scratch and scuff resistant. Now let's talk about what weights you can get this kettlebell in. It comes in 10 pounds, 15, 20, and 25. The kettlebell set that I have here comes in 10 pound, 15 pound, and 20 pound kettlebell weights. I think that's the perfect variety for anyone's home gym. So here's the 10 pound weight. You can see that it's a pretty good size. It's my favorite one to use so far, the one that I find myself grabbing more times than not, especially when I'm doing things like Pilates and yoga and kind of integrating the kettlebells in there with a little bit of strength in there too. I kind of like to combine both of them. This one is really great for just all around kettlebell use. The next one is the 15 pound weight, and you can see this one is a little bit on the heftier size. It's quite large if you look at it compared to my head, so that potentially could be a con to some people, but I do love using this one. I do find myself using this quite a bit, especially as I have been increasing my kettlebell strength training routine. I'm kind of starting off with lower weights and adding as I go, so 10 pounds is good for me so far, but the 15 pound is really nice. Again, she is a little hefty, but whew, that is hard to hold, but I think most people are gonna find that they're gonna use the 10 and 15 the most. Here we have the 20 pounder, and I'm pretty sure that the 15 and 20 pound are exactly the same size. The 20 pound just has more sand in it to, you know, make the weight, you know, what it says it is. They also have a 25 pound kettlebell, but I'm kind of curious how that one fits into the equation in terms of size, if it's bigger than the 20 pound and 15 pound, because that could definitely potentially be a con for getting the soft version of that. I like to use these kettlebells for exercises like kettlebell swings, bridge presses, overhead tricep presses, weighted squats, lunge twists, just to name a few. Now, I want to tell you the number one reason that I was really interested in these was safety. I am a new mom and I also have 3 cats and a small dog. So using weights safely in my home gym, which I do all of my workouts from home, is extremely important to me. With dumbbells, it's a little easier to, keep them to yourself and like not flail them around. But inherently with kettlebells, there's just that safety risk of just flinging it across the room or, breaking your TV with it, or like my brother did several years back, splitting your toe in half with it. Yes. That has traumatized me ever since that happened, but that was with a kettlebell that he used at the gym. So all the more reason that I should probably get this for him for Christmas. I've put these kettlebells to the test, and even when I drop them on my toe, yes, drop them straight on my toe, I barely feel a thing. It just kind of bounces and rolls off. And of course, obviously I feel some sort of thing, like my feet I don't have like neuropathy or anything like that. I can feel it dropping on my toe. It's just not anything like you would feel with a traditional kettlebell. You definitely don't want to do that with a traditional kettlebell. Now let's talk about the pros and the cons of WeGym's soft kettlebells. Number one, I just mentioned, but safety. It gives you so much peace of mind if you're a mom or someone with pets or someone who has maybe a significant other that walks around while you're doing your workouts. And it's also safe for you to use yourself. I think that is priceless, and the fact that these kettlebells are very comparable to traditional kettlebells in terms of price is impressive to me. And I think, like, why not go the extra step and get the safe ones versus just the standard ones? I really, really like the non-slip handle piece of the equation. I do have 2 different kettlebells at home that I used to use. One of them is a plasticky one. It's like from Walmart. It's not very like fancy, and it is not slip resistant at all. It's made with that plasticky material, and it would slip and slide if I ever used it enough to get that sweaty. It would not handle the sweat very well. So I like that. And then I also have this one, which is like made of like, I don't even know, like some metal type of material, and it hurts my hands when I use, and it's also not non-slip at all. I know some people use tape on these to make them easier, but your girl has not so far. This kettlebell you could definitely use as like a deadly weapon against an intruder coming in your house. Like, this one is dangerous. Not safe at all. The third thing that I think is a pro is price. The kettlebell set with 10, 15 pound and 20 pound weights is $169.99. And you can even get a discount with my code DBN10 for a little bit off that price. And I did a little price comparison, and at Target, a 10 pound kettlebell is $33, 15 pound is $44, and a 20 pound one is $54, which equals $132 total if you were to get the exact same type of set from Target instead, which is where I usually get most of my weights from. So it's only $38 difference if you don't use my code, and if you use my code, it's only $20 different. So that's pretty cool. And now for the cons. What are some reasons why you may not want to have this kettlebell set? Now, one con that I found with this kettlebell in particular is that all of the weight is at the bottom, and this part right here is hollow. So all of the weight is going to be in the bottom of the kettlebell and not the top part, which may not seem very significant, but it does impact how your workouts kind of are and what muscles you're using and stuff like that. So if I were to do a row with this, like, the weight is going to be down here instead of balanced a little bit up here on the grip part and at the bottom. So if that doesn't make any sense at all, this one right here, if I were to do the same move, I'm gonna feel it more in my forearm and my wrist, and maybe, like, I don't know, I'd say like mostly in my forearm and my wrist, and then also in my tricep, versus if I use the other one, again, the weight distribution is just a little bit different. I think some people may not like that very much. I'd have to ask my friend Justina Ercole how she feels about that, if it makes that big of a difference, but that's one potential con. It hasn't really made a big difference in the workouts that I do, I will say, but I think to each their own. Everyone might have a little bit of a different opinion on that. And con number 2 is space. So that was the first thing that my fiance said when I brought the kettlebells in is, oh, these are cool, but man, they're a little bit big, right? And I have to agree. So with the 15-pound weight, this is what the 15-pound looks like. And then my other 15-pound weight, if you were to get a metal one, or whatever this is, whatever material this is 15 pounds as well. So definitely takes up a lot less space. Again, with other cons that come with it, but you can kind of choose for yourself which one fits your lifestyle better. If I didn't have kids or pets and I didn't have a tremendous amount of deep-rooted anxiety of smashing my toe potentially, then I would probably get the other one, but that is not the world that I live in, and it won't be. So I'm gonna go with the safer option. So I'm curious what you think. Is this kettlebell set worth it? Do you think that the softer option is better, or do you think you'll stick with the more traditional kettlebells and, you know, maybe save 20 bucks and potentially risk that toe of yours to get in like a more traditional kettlebell in your routine? I want to hear it from you, and let me know what you'd like me to review in the future. I really enjoy doing these nutrition and fitness reviews. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer, so I love, you know, talking about all things health and nutrition. So let me know what you want to see in the future. All right, I gotta get to my little man who is sitting behind me, just woke up from his nap. If you enjoyed this video and got something from it, then consider buying me a coffee at the link below. It is just a way to support the channel and make sure that I can continue to do reviews like this one. You can also use my code DBN10 for 10% off this kettlebell set or anything on WeGym's website if you'd like. I am an affiliate because I do enjoy WeGym's products and I love their brand. So I want to give you a discount where it fits in with the products that I enjoy. So thanks so much for supporting this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.